Once upon a time, two friends joined forces to bring you the best in horror entertainment. Brian from the north, Tim from the south, each bringing their own unique perspective to the horror community. Movie reviews, Blu-ray releases, beer pairings, games, and more. Welcome to your new home for horror. This is Civil Gore.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the December Discmemberment of Civil Gore. I am your host, Tim.
And this is Brian. And while we know, as Tim and I will be probably hopefully getting a lot of horror Blu-rays for gifts and stuff, there's really not it's not a big month, you'd think. I think they really put a lot out in October this year, so December's a little short. Although I've been which is good though, because I've gotten, I'll start posting this. I have a backlog, believe it or not, I have a backlog of posting things that I got for the monolith. But yeah, because we did early holidays with my mom, because she's gonna be going back to Florida. So we did our little holidays. I picked up some cool horror Blu-rays, but I'll probably share that on the next show or on social media. But yeah, so this might not be as an exciting dismemberment as they always are. You know, there's usually a lot of comedy in there, a lot of fun. This one, it's there's a lot of re-releases or movies that are just good.
Extras.
Yeah, and there's movies that look good, so we can't even tease about them or anything. So it's yeah, I don't know. So hopefully our natural charm will get you through this episode.
This one you'll have to struggle to find the diamonds in the rough here in this batch of December releases. Yeah. But hopefully you'll find something here worth asking Santa for this year.
But Tim, I don't know if you noticed yet, but there is almost an unprecedented event that has happened this month. We almost had a perfect each week, different picks of the week, except for the final week.
Yeah, and that's pretty amazing because it's kind of understandable in one sense, because that kind of shows you how quote-unquote average these discs were, that it was hard to just say, oh, well, that's the obvious pick of the week.
Yeah.
So that kind of helped us differ and branch out, but at the same time, it is pretty it's pretty rare that we differ so much on from week to week. And really the one we agreed on, that was only a 2-release week anyway.
Yeah,
so the odds were definitely in our favor that we were going to pick the same one. So yeah, pretty interesting. All right, well, let's kick things off. These are the Blu-rays for December 2020, and we're going to kick things off on December 1st, which falls on a Tuesday, and you should be hearing this on that day. So Check these out at your local store or online retailer. And I'm going to kick things off with the Shout Factory's The Rental from 2020.
It's rare they do a new one like that so fast.
It is
Shout Factory these days, right? Because usually they're pretty much concentrating on more of the older classics and stuff.
Yeah, so it's pretty interesting. Although maybe they're branching out into doing some newer titles. This one is about two couples who rent a vacation home for what should be a celebratory weekend getaway. And the trailer for this one, Brian, looks fantastic. It looks really cool. It kind of had the Beach House vibes in terms of the setup.
It did,
with the small characters in an isolated location. It's always a good setup for a low budget horror movie. Although this one doesn't look very low budget, it actually looks really, really. I saw definitely some recognizable faces in this one.
Well, yeah, your favorite Alison Brie is in there.
Yeah. I was about to mention Miss Brie, and that one definitely caught my attention when I saw that in the trailer. So, I'm looking forward to this one. It does have a few extras on it. It's got some behind-the-scenes featurettes, an audio descriptive track, and a trailer.
Yeah, and this is the Dave Franco directed vehicle that has been getting a lot of discussion throughout the year. I've been actually really wanting to see this. So this may be one of those ones I kind of pick up sight unseen, and just because I've heard so many good things about it. And it also just got the Barbara Crampton seal of approval.
Ooh,
so
nice.
Yeah, when you get that, you kind of have to go with Barbara always on that.
Yeah, definitely.
So the next one we have is a re-release, but I think that we're just going to see a lot of that, especially even this year more. I think with the 4K and so many movies going straight home without the theater. So I think you're going to see even more than you expected of 4K releases in the following year, and it's starting now.
And I've got to do a programming note on this, because this is going to change the way our dismemberments flow a little bit, because of the abundance of 4K releases. I used to I would mention a 4K re-release. I would just mention it at the top of the week, like, oh, by the way, and Poltergeist and Halloween are getting 4K releases or whatever. But now there's so many discs coming out in 4K, it's starting to become the new standard with all the 4K TVs out there, that I'm just listing them in the general release list because I can't tell what's a reissue, what's a new disc in 4K. It's getting a lot harder to make that distinction. So now I'm just going to release them. They may be reissues, but we're just going to put them out there as a new title to pick up for that week. So just a disclaimer there.
Yeah, well, and also because the newer 4K releases now aren't just like remember when they first came out, the 4K releases, they were just kind of like the movie because and a couple of features, but now the 4K releases are like full-fledged discs with tons of extra features, and a lot of them are come with the Blu-ray too, so it's like you're kind of getting like the double dip. It's like, remember how it used to be Blu-ray DVD digital, now it's like 4K Blu-ray digital.
Yeah.
So the DVDs are kind of getting ousted. It's amazing when the discs still come with it. It's kind of funny when you still see that, but like my Bill and Ted came with it was a Blu-ray and DVD, not digital on that one, which was weird. So it's kind of weird when they flip-flop it like that. But anyway, the one movie you're now awaiting with bated breath is Underworld 4K from 2003. I know Tim likens this one a lot, but you knew I had to go there. You knew I had to go there. But look, we got to pull comedy from everywhere in this episode. But yeah, no, so this is a 4K release. Really no special features on it, but that doesn't mean there's not going to be any. I wouldn't be surprised if they just didn't list it because like even maybe the sources we get it from are just like, okay, it's a 4K re-release. Yeah. Whatever. But I'm sure there'll be some sort of special feature on it. I can't imagine them releasing a movie like Underworld, which is so popular, just as a 4K upgrade without anything.
And this is a guilty pleasure series for me. I love the Underworld series.
Yeah, I have the whole series on Blu-ray, even though I haven't seen them all, but it's like one of those ones. I mean, that's probably a future summer slaycation, too, Yeah,
so. It could be, yeah, for sure. Yeah. All right, so next up we have a disc from Code Red. It's called Panic from 1982. A scientist's experiment with a deadly bacteria goes awry and leaves him horribly deformed. The monstrous man then runs amok in his town. And we couldn't find a trailer for this one, but it's from 1982, and I just have to believe that it's probably a good watch.
Yeah,
even bad movies from 1982 are good.
Oh yeah, no, and especially it's like anytime for me, it's like anytime you say something runs amok, I'm in. Yeah. I don't know why. It just that phrase always cracks me up because I just picture this wild craziness going on.
Oh, we not only had a run amok, but we also had a goes awry in the same.
Yeah, look at that. It was like a double dip of a going awry and an amok, like awry and amok. I mean, that almost sounds like this weird like spin-off Animaniac segment, doesn't it? Like awry and amok.
I'm sure there's some shenanigans in there too.
Oh yeah, there's shenanigans. There's some what's the other one? Skullduggery. I'm sure. Yeah, it's probably got it all. Yeah, name one of those euphemisms and then you got it. But and this one is just packed with just the trailers that we couldn't find apparently. So this is a sneaky bravo Code Red. I think what they're doing to do is try to have us buy it so we can see the trailer and then really talk about it.
They pulled all the trailers off YouTube and burned them directly to disc.
Yeah, burn them to disc. So there's you have to buy the disc if you want to see this trailer. This is like reverse guerrilla marketing. Yeah.
Next up from Sony Pictures, we have Zombieland Double Tap 4K from 2019. Columbus, Tallahassee, Wichita, and Little Rock move to the American heartland as they face off against evolved zombies, fellow survivors, and the growing pains of the snarky makeshift family. Man, I absolutely love this sequel.
Yeah. I watched it today. Sequel. It was on again, and I watched it. I watch this every time it's on. I love it. I absolutely love it. I think I love it more each time I see it, too.
Yeah, and it's one of those rare sequels that I think I enjoy just as much as the original, personally. I don't know how other people feel about it, but I really like both of these movies.
Oh, yeah, me too. And I think they did a good, of course they're going to have to up it a little bit. So they upped it, they upped it with the newer zombies. They updated it with a couple of more characters in there. And, and it just, I thought it was just, but they didn't do it over the top. And I think that the 10-year wait was nice because by that point you had enough of the nostalgia to look back on versus the things that you loved. And I think that they did a thing. I think they should just do this movie every 10 years, a new Zombieland movie.
That sounds good to me.
Are you listening, all the Zombieland production company? So so the next one is by Gravitas Ventures, and that's Do Not Reply from 2019. It says, Chelsea, a high school introvert, is abducted through a social media app and is forced to look like other girls Brad holds captive. Chelsea desperately attempts to persuade them to escape before they all become victims in his virtual reality filmed murders. And I got to tell you, when I watched the trailer, when I first started and I saw the thing, I'm like, oh God, this is going to be one of these stupid, like, evil app movies. But I have to tell you, there was enough, while it's a generic type of plot, there was enough in there to make it seem more appealing. Like, there's a little bit of like, I was going to say Glass, but it's the other one, Split. It's a little bit more like Split. I got that kind of a vibe in there, and it was looked really just, I don't know, like it really intrigued me enough to say, you know what, I might have to see this. It's like it did a good job on the trailer with probably maybe not, I guess it'll live. We'll find out once we see it, if it lives up to the little bit of the trailer that they kind of teased, and if it keeps up that kind of like same thing throughout the movie that I saw in the trailer, it might not be that bad.
It has kind of a Blumhouse feel to it to me.
It does, yeah,
Very
it does,
Blumhouse.
but a little bit more like low budgety Blumhouse.
Yeah, exactly.
Like more like a Blum apartment,
Yeah.
But
all right, so last before we get to our picks of the week this week, we had Gravitas Ventures Backwoods from 2020. High school cheerleader Molly woke bound and gagged in the trunk of her boyfriend's car. That was the high point of her night. After escaping her abductor and fleeing into the nearby forest, she comes face to face with a town urban legend, the Hangman, a deformed zealot said to hang male trespassers and keep the women as brides. Now Molly, along with her best friend and would-be rescuer Noah, must work together to avoid becoming his latest victims. And this one's definitely got a much more low-budgety feel to it. But this one, as Brian points out, it name drops some Freddy and Jason and then touts the Hangman as the newest horror icon. So I will give them credit for having some chutzpah to make that claim from this trailer.
They definitely went bold with this. But I don't know. It's just like, can you just think of it? It's like Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, the Hangman. It's just like, you go from like these mass murders to like a fun game you play with your parents on the plane. I mean, granted, the visuals of the Hangman look kind of interesting, but like I said, it's like, I swear to God, I think there's like 3 different shots of him, and he looks different each time, so I'm not quite sure what's going on. But I mean, I would give this a watch for sure if it appeared on one of the streaming services. I mean, I don't know about a disc, buying that a disc. I can't just go by like them telling me it's gonna be the new horror icon. Because I'm sorry, because even after Freddy and Jason, if that thinks it's Hangman's just gonna kind of sneak in there in 3rd place. Whether you have Jason 1 or 2, I'm sorry, but there's at least like 5 I can name right off the bat that will be, unless the Hangman totally blows us away.
No, I think we know the next horror icon is Art the Clown.
Yes, of course. So
So I guess, Brian, you'll get to announce my pick of the week, and I'll get to announce your pick of the week.
Okay, so Tim's pick of the week is it's a 4K re-release, but it's a pretty big one, I think, because it's a movie that I think has a big fan base to it, and I think there was supposed to be another sequel being remade, right? Recently, I don't know if it's still going on or. But anyway, it's Blade in 4K from 1998. It's the story: half vampire, half mortal man becomes protector of the human race while slaying evil vampires, and that's of course the Wesley Snipes vehicle that. Sorry, that's a double vehicle we had to mention like in the first week alone, but had to do it. But yeah, I like this because it's a really good horror movie, and it's getting an upgrade, which is always a good thing for big fans of the series, especially if we're not sure whereabouts of the remake / sequel or whatever it is. But so it's got HDR presentation of the film, English Dolby Atmos audio track, so they definitely upped the specs there with that. It's audio commentary by cast and crew members. Featurettes are La Magra, Designing Blade, The Origins of Blade, A Look at Dark Comics, The Blood Tide, and theatrical trailer. I think that's pretty much all old special features.
Yeah.
That was on the original disc, but still, they're giving you some special features along with your upgrade. So if you don't have the disc, number 1, it's great. And number 2, even if you do have it, you can maybe get rid of your earlier version and replace it without worrying you're losing a feature or anything.
Yeah, I've got the original DVD of this one, so this was definitely worth an upgrade for me.
Yeah, I don't have the Blu-ray either. I have the DVD, so I need to upgrade.
Yeah, this one is not actually labeled strictly horror, so I almost left it off, but because it's kind of considered a comic book movie, but I put it on here because I've always considered it's got vampires in it. I mean,
yeah, I mean, there, horror and that's I think what I love about the horror genre so much is there is things that are like just on the horror fringe, but you can include it because it includes a horror topic, like a vampire or something. Like, how could you have, really, it's hard not to have a vampire movie somewhere in horror. I mean, other than Love at First Bite. I mean,
yeah. And I've left some of those off before too. Those vampire comedies, like Vampire in Brooklyn, I left off.
Yeah, and I happen to love at First Bite, by the way.
Yeah,
but
guilty pleasure for sure.
Yeah, I saw that in the theater actually.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. So that's
you know what? One of my first vampire movies was Once Bitten with Jim Carrey.
Oh my god, I love that one. That's another one of my favorites, and that's where I got my hiss from. Where I go, sometimes I'll just hiss because of that Jim Carrey hiss in there.
I was probably way too young to be watching that one.
Yeah, maybe, but
oh well.
And that was a typical lot of '80s references and insensitivity jokes in there, but
yeah. So Brian's pick of the week was a short film that is a sequel to a fan-made Friday the 13th film, Never Hike in the Snow from 2020. Never Hike in the Snow is a prequel, not a sequel, is a prequel set 3 months prior to Never Hike Alone and follows the strange disappearance of Mark Hill, a Crystal Lake resident who went for a hike in the dead of winter and never came home. As local Wessex County Sheriff Rick Cologne and Deputy Alan Mabry search for answers, town local Tommy Jarvis believes that his old nemesis Jason Voorhees is to blame. Will Diana Hill ever see her son again, or will her son become another lost victim of the cursed camp? And Brian, you saw this one not too long ago because we talked about it on one of our episodes.
Yeah, and let me reiterate. So Tommy Jarvis is played by Tom Matthews, and also Rick Cologne is played by the same actor, which I can't remember his name, that played in Jason Lives also. So it's cool that they got those back in, so this can actually fit in almost to the real movies because you have the same characters. But also, there's a new thing. It's called the Ghost Cut. I don't know if you saw that, where it's an extended cut of this, Never Hike in the Woods, and there was another one. I forgot the name of the third short film that Womp Stomp Films did, and they put it in one big movie. So it's like an hour and something. It's on YouTube for free too. So you can check it out. Just look up under Womp Stomp's YouTube page. Look up Never Hike in the Woods Ghost Cut. And you'll see. So it's basically all three of their short Jason films like tied together in one.
That's awesome. Nice. Okay, so to wrap up the week of December 1st, we have The Rental from 2020, Underworld 4K from 2003, Panic from 1982, Zombieland Double Tap 4K from 2019, Do Not Reply from 2019, Backwoods from 2020, my pick of the week, Blade 4K from 1998, and Brian's pick of the week, Never Hike in the Snow from 2020. All right, that brings us to the next week, December 8th, and this one actually has a couple titles on here that I really, really want to see. We'll kick things off with an old one from my birth year, and you know how, Brian, I love my birth year horror movies.
You do.
This one is a Mondo Macabro release, and it's called Sins of the Flesh.
This actually, real quick, Tim, this has other titles, by the way. This was that one I couldn't, it's like it's got like 3 other titles, I believe.
Well, I would hope so. If it's Italian and from 1974, it better have like 5 titles.
Yeah. Sorry, I can't even remember all of them, but there's like 3 titles to this thing, and that's why I had trouble finding the trailer for it.
Yeah, I'm just assuming it's Italian. It may not be. This one is Benoit is a coward and a voyeur who gets his kicks from watching other couples make out. He cajoles his 2 new companions to attempt what he has never dared to do. Rob the safe in his father's factory, seduce his stepmother to blackmail her for money, and finally go so far as committing murder. Thus begins a wild ride that takes him to the very edge of madness.
Yeah, that was like none of that in the trailer, by the way. That did not look like that's what was going on in this trailer.
No, not at all. There was definitely a lot of nudity in this one, as you would expect from a movie called Sins of the Flesh.
Yeah, but like in the trailer, it's like a full-on like Like there's like it's almost the trailer had to be had to be one of those R trailers. There's no way. There's just like there's more. I've seen more in the trailer than I have in some regular R-rated movies. So.
Yeah. This one has actually some pretty good extras. It's got a brand new 4K restoration of the film from the original negative, an interview with actress Anne Liebert, interview with Gerard Cocoin. We've heard of him before, right? Cocoin?
Yeah,
I remember
Cocoin,
that.
because we've said it that way, yeah.
Interview with distributor Francis Mishkin, interview with assistant director Didier Philippe Gerard, trailers, alternate title sequences, optionally newly created English subtitles, and the Mundo Macabro previews because they like to preview their movies. I don't know why I sound like the Count.
I know. What I want to know is, though, the optionally newly, so is it optional that it's new, or is it optional to watch them?
I don't know. Take your pick.
I love the way they word these things. Next one is a Gravitas Venture, Don't Click from 2020. It's 21-year-old Josh Skarsgård. It's not any of the Skarsgårds we know. I think it's like Vartan, like Skarsgård or something like this.
Is he an actual Skarsgård, or is he like a fake Skarsgård?
I don't know. That's the thing. It's like he's one of those, like, it could be like one of those like fake Skarsgårds, I think. Because you definitely don't hear about this Skarsgård. And I want to like get his like, yeah, it's Volter. That's what it is. Volter Skarsgård.
We're trying to set a record for a number of Skarsgårds in one podcast. Actually,
by the look of him, though, no, he's totally related. He's totally a Skarsgård.
Okay, all right.
I'm looking at his name. He's also known as Walter instead of Volter. And yes, right here in the trivia, I looked him up just to be sure. Brother of Alexander Skarsgård, Gustav Skarsgård, Sam Skarsgård, Bill Skarsgård, and I don't even know how to say this. Skarsgård. So there's a lot of Skarsgårds yet we have not seen yet, I guess. So there's like still it's kind of exciting. There's still some Skarsgårds to uncover.
He's going to play Nickelwise in the Castle Boulder reboot.
Yes, which is 5 times the evil as Pennywise. Oh God, I apologize to everybody tonight. Okay, well, anyway, back to Volter Skarsgård. Now, 20-year-old Josh Skarsgård tries to convince his roommate, best friend Zane Kufos to join him at a party. Zane declines this invitation, claiming he has to study, but instead decides to surf the web for some new porn. We've all been there, right? A sexually graphic pop-up catches Zane's attention. He can't take his eyes off the screen. What kind of porn is this? He takes the bait. He clicks. Later that night, Josh comes back to an empty apartment. Zane's laptop is still open, but there's no sign of Zane. Something doesn't feel right. Zane's laptop screen starts flashing, and that's the last thing Josh can remember as he groggily wakes up to find Zane in a dank, surreal cellar with no way out. Josh tries everything he can do to save both his friend and himself from a dangerous entity that begins to take control of their bodies and minds, but his biggest challenge to escape may be himself.
Okay, so
that is some summary.
Yeah, a porn horror, I guess. I don't know what that is. That's weird.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the trailer kind of almost has like a Ring meets Hellraiser meets Saw kind of vibe.
It is definitely in the grimy areas of as you might expect from a porn clicking horror movie.
Yeah, I mean, and the Hellraiser, I said because you know how Hellraiser had that weird like thing going on with the chains and everything. I think there was one of the guys was like caught up, and there's a Saw imagery in there. In the Ring, definitely, because it's like they watch this. Instead of a video, they watch a porn thing, and there's this woman that keeps appearing, and she appears in the, I think she appears back in the screen, right? I think, or I mean, I might be mixing up with the other trailer I saw with the woman, but basically they're watching it, and it basically causes something, which is where I got the Ring, of course, reference. Yeah. So,
all right, well that does it for our regular releases this week. We're on to our pick of the week, and mine is one that I really am looking forward to seeing. This one is from Wellgo USA, and it is called Possessor. This is coming out in a 4K version from this year, 2020. Possessor follows an agent who works for a secretive organization that uses brain implant technology to inhabit other people's bodies, ultimately driving them to commit assassinations for high-paying clients. And I've heard a lot of good things about this one. Yeah. It's got the weird body horror. It looks... go watch the trailer. The trailer is pretty amazing. And then, of course, directed by Brandon Cronenberg. So I am definitely looking forward to seeing this one.
Nice. It's got Angela Riseborough in it too. She's always great. She was in remember Mandy and
yeah.
It was really good in that. So.
A few little features on here. You got some deleted scenes, behind the scenes extras, and trailers. So I'm definitely looking forward to watching. I'm gonna probably rent this one like shortly because I definitely want to see this one.
I think I was talking to Jeff. He said he thinks it might be on Prime right now. Actually,
really?
I don't know if it's for maybe it might be just for rent.
Yeah,
because we were in the Zoom. Yeah, we were in the Zoom, and Kate, she's one of the big host fan that we follow each other, and she was in the Zoom, and she was saying I think it just came out in the theaters in Australia, so she went to the theater to see it. So
you can. It is on Prime, but it's for rent. So
okay. So that's what it was. I knew they were talking about. They weren't sure if it was the uncut version though. We're still trying to figure that out. But now that I know it's on Prime for purchase, maybe it is. But you know how Prime edits weird things. So
yeah, no telling. It doesn't actually say uncut for the rental version. So buyer beware there. I definitely want to see the uncut version.
Yes, and actually. That probably would have been my pick of the week, too, except until I saw the trailer for this one that I picked. And it's an Arrow release, and it's Versus from the year 2000. And it's deep within the mysterious forest of resurrection. A spectacular battle between good and evil has gone on since the dawn of time. When prisoner KSC2-303 escapes from a maximum security jail, he enters the forest believing it will lead him to a safe haven. Instead, he finds himself a pawn in an endless struggle played out against an ever-changing background across multiple temporal planes of existence. And the trailer looks absolutely nuts.
It does.
And once I saw the trailer, I was like, wow, what is this? And then I saw this disc is like complete. It's an Arrow disc packed with some amazing things. So I'm like, you know what? I got to give it. I mean, this is a movie I really want to see, and I'm glad that, and it's an edition that has a lot of stuff on it, so I could tell if I really like it, like I think I would. I'll have like all I want in like the disc. So listen to these. I mean, this is like packed. This has got to be one of the biggest like list of special features we've had in a while.
Yeah.
So it's got a brand new 2K restoration from the original film elements by Arrow Films, approved by director Ryuhei Kitamura. It's got the high definition 1080p Blu-ray. I guess both versions of the film, the original 2000 cut and the 2004 Ultimate Versus, featuring over 10 minutes of new and revised footage, which has got to be cool because this movie looks like it's one of these non-stop action fight movies.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine 10 more minutes of it.
It looks like kind of a kung fu horror movie. It looks really cool.
Yeah, like a little Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, but with like a zombie touch to it, I believe. Yeah. So it's got the reversible sleeve featuring original and newly commissioned artwork by Chris Malbon. And so that's a 2-disc version. So the disc 1 has the original lossless Japanese 5.1 and 2.0 stereo audio and English 2.0 stereo audio, optional English subtitles, audio commentary by Kitamura and producer Kishiro Shin, audio commentary by Kitamura and the cast and crew, new visual essay on the career of Kitamura by, thank God I could say his name because it's like every line here, by Japanese cinema expert. Oh, we didn't even do this one, but I guess he's a cinema expert. He's not a historian.
Yeah, and Japanese he's not doing a commentary, so.
Yeah, the Japanese cinema expert Jasper Sharp. Behind Versus, a 2-part behind-the-scenes documentary exploring the film's production. First Contact versus Evolution, a featurette exploring the film's origins, which I have a feeling is probably really valuable because I have a feeling this is one of those movies that might be confusing on the first watch because it looks like it's going to be like really push forth the action and the visuals more than the backstory, which are probably going to be revealed. I mean, like I said, we didn't see it, but maybe is one of those that get revealed subtly, and so you might want to find out about this stuff. There's where is it? I lost my place. There's so many of these things. Here. Tak Sakaguchi's one-man journey, an archival featurette, and the actor's visit to the 2001 Japan Film Festival in Hamburg. Film festival screening footage. Team Versus, a brief look inside the Napalm Film Office. Deep in the Woods, an archival featurette featuring interviews with Kitamura cast and crew. Oh, that's again. They redid that one, I guess. The Encounter, an archival interview with editor Shuichi Kaketsu. Deleted scenes with audio commentary by Kitamura cast and crew. Nervous and Nervous 2, two side story mini movies featuring characters from the main feature. Featurette on the making of Nervous 2. Even the special features have special features in this. Versus FF version, a condensed 20-minute recut of the film.
Wow.
So you're getting 3 versions of this film. multiple trailers, image gallery, and that's disc 1. Now, disc 2 is Ultimate Versus. It says original lossless Japanese 6.1 and 2.0 stereo audio, and English 6.1 and 2.0 stereo audio. Optional English subtitles, audio commentary by Kitamura, cast and crew. Oh, God. I'm not gonna, let's see. Sagigake Otoko versus Juko, a featurette on the newly shot material for Ultimate Versus. And the first pressing only, you get... Oh, great. There's the suck-in for me right off the bat. It says illustrated collector's booklet featuring new writing on the film and a reprinted interview with Kitamura by Tom Miss. And notes on the making of the film by Kitamura. This is going to be one of the best featured discs we've had all year.
Yeah, that one's
especially for a movie we don't even know about.
Yeah, I came very close to picking it as my pick of the week just because of the extras on it, because that's a lot of extras for the money. But I went with Possessor only because I'm so excited for that one, and the trailer was so fantastic. But but either one of those are great picks.
Yeah, but see, that's what's so great about it. You know, it's like I would have totally gone Possessor until I saw this trailer and the features on this disc, and I'm like, okay, this is a movie I want to see, and holy crap, I can see everything about it in one disc or two discs, but one set.
All right, so let's recap the week of December 8th. We had Sins of the Flesh from 1974, Don't Click from 2020, and then my pick of the week, Possessor 4K from 2020, and Brian's pick of the week, Versus from 2000. Moving right along, this is our biggest week, and that is the week of December 15th. And if you're gonna find anything in December, it's probably in this batch here, because there's quite a few really, really good ones here.
Yeah.
We're going to start things off with Full Moon Features Orgy of the Living Dead from 1973. Paul Naschy plays a supporting role as a deranged gravedigger in this zombie movie set in a small Highland village in 19th century Scotland, where a stranger's arrival to claim an inheritance is met with apocalyptic visions and other evil omens. The town unearths a crypt full of horrors, including a devil-worshipping coven and throngs of the living dead. And this is a really cool trailer because it's one of those that they said they'll offer you a free insurance if you go insane by watching it, and that they're only showing clips because they don't want to drive people insane. It's so
very
gimmicky.
Hitchcocky trailer, like that point of fact, kind of making it seem like you'd be afraid to go see this movie but stuff like that. I like those.
I do too, and I've got to see this just because of Paul Naschy's supporting role, because I'm a big Paul Naschy fan. I just got that second collection of his, so I now have the complete Paul Naschy. It's not his complete works because he had dozens of films, but the Paul Naschy sets that have come out, they've released 2 so far. So I'm hoping there's some more of those that are coming out. And this one looks really fun. I definitely want to see this one.
Yeah, I wonder how much chest hair it'll have in it.
I'm sure a lot. If he's playing a deranged gravedigger, he's probably got his shirt off. Well, let me back that up. If it's Paul Naschy, he's probably got his shirt off. It doesn't matter what role he's playing.
That is true. He's gotta have that. But so the next one we have is by Cauldron Films. I don't know if we must have had one of them before.
I don't recall. I've seen a couple of new ones on this month.
Yeah, I mean, I sounds familiar, but maybe it was just from the trailer. I remember seeing the Cauldron logo. But and then this one is American Rickshaw from 1989. This is a movie I never got to see, and I always kind of wanted to see it because I just heard some good things with this. It's basically a Miami college student finds himself framed for the murder of an evangelist's son. He hooks up with an Asian witch and a stripper to find the real killer and clear his name. That's always who you want to go. That's like, I mean, really, that's got to be an Asian witch and a stripper as your thing. That's like as powerful as Giuliani as your counsel. I mean, that's really the way you want to go, right? Besides that, okay, let's move on from that. But anyway, so this is a decent disc. It's got a 2K restoration from the original camera negative. Plus, I also should say it has Donald Pleasance, so it's an automatic watch. Does have an audio commentary by critics Sam Dagan and Kat Ellinger, which we know, of course, about Sam. Kat, she gets grandfathered in, but Sam, remember, his second M stands for mime, because he does his movies, solely by physical representation inside a glass box. However, when we found out she was a woman, because we did the wrong research originally, it's funny, she kind of introduces herself as, "Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Sam with 2 M's," and holds up 2 fingers to illustrate. See, so she still doesn't get rid of that whole miming thing.
Yeah.
But and the best thing is when she teams up with Kat, the second M stands for magical.
Yes. And we confused a lot of new listeners just now.
Yeah, sorry. So you're going to have to go back to listen to every Dismemberment to get all those jokes. However, the on-camera interviews with director Sergio Martino and production designer Massimo Antonello Gelling is on there. And then there's Then and Now location footage and image gallery and an English audio track. So it's a decent little disc there from Cauldron Films.
Nice. This next one up, I am really looking forward to watching.
Yeah.
I've almost watched this one 2 or 3 times over the break.
Same with me, I know.
Never got around to it. This is from RLJ Entertainment, The Dark and the Wicked from 2020. I've heard so many good things. On a secluded farm in a nondescript rural town, a man is slowly dying. His family gathers to mourn, and soon a darkness grows, marked by waking nightmares and a growing sense that something evil is taking over the family. And this one has that very slow burn horror that I love, and it looks really super creepy. The trailer's fantastic. This one does have an extra Fantasia Q&A with Marin Ireland and Michael Abbott Jr., so I definitely want to see this one.
Yes. And the next one is this one we've already raved a lot about this for this year. There's actually, this week is like the week of some of Tim and I's favorite of the year here, and the first one is The Beach House from 2019. Of course, we did a big episode with this where we had the producer and the director on. And it was a romantic getaway for 2 troubled college sweethearts turned into a struggle for survival when the unexpected guests and the surrounding environment exhibit signs of a mysterious infection. And this one was one of Shudder's, like Shudder killed it this year. I mean, they literally really killed it. Between some of the stuff they got, some of the Shudder originals, there hasn't been a month where Shudder has not delivered something absolutely spectacular. So a lot of the months, multiple movies, and this was definitely one of them. As I absolutely love this movie. I probably watched it like 3 or 4 times, I think, throughout the summer. I mean, because I showed it to my brother and his girlfriend too, because it's such good. And Liana Liberato as the lead, she was fantastic. This one, if you haven't seen it yet, it's still on Shudder, but this is one I'm still going to order because I want this in my collection. This deserves a place in the monolith.
Yeah, definitely. The next one up is one that could very well have been a pick of the week. This one, Brian and I both picked Other Disc, but I would gladly put this one on there as this could be your third pick of the week right now. I'm just going to announce it as an unofficial pick of the week. It's from Blue Underground and is the original Maniac from 1980. A deeply disturbed man prowls the seedy streets of New York City to stalk and slaughter innocent young women. Of course, this is a classic film, and it has a fantastic disc with some really good extras. It's got a critically acclaimed 4K restoration from the recently discovered 16mm original camera negative. Of course, I'm not going to read through all of the technical specs, but there's, of course, as many subtitles as you can possibly ever want on a disc, and your various audio versions. An audio commentary number 1 with producer-director William Lustig and producer Andrew Garoni. Audio commentary number 2 with producer-director William Lustig, special makeup effects artist Tom Savini, editor Lorenzo Marinelli, and Joe Spinell's assistant Luke Walter. Theatrical trailers, TV spots, radio spots, Maniac outtakes, returning to the scene of the crime with William Lustig, Anna and the Killer interview with star Carolyn Monroe, The Death Dealer interview with special makeup effects artist Tom Savini, Dark Notes interview with composer Jay Chataway, Maniac Men interview with songwriters Michael Cimbello and Dennis McCoskey, Joe Spinell story, Mr. Robbie Maniac 2 promo reel, Maniac publicity, Maniac controversy, and it's a region-free disc. So I would not hesitate to make this a third pick of the week here.
Yeah, looking back, I really I was torn between this and the one I actually did pick, but I think because it was released, I think it already released this year at one point. Possibly, I want to say, but this is like the 4K upgrade of it, even though it's not listed as technically a 4K upgrade. But I remember there was a release of this earlier, so that's the only reason I think I had that in my mind, which is why I was hesitant to pick it, and I leaned the other way. But still, the next one is by Media Blasters Incorporated. This might be a new one too. I don't remember this, and this is Blood Sisters from 1987. First of all, that title almost sounds like something from one of those 60s, 70s movies. Mm-hmm. And actually, the visuals look like a 70s movie, but apparently it was 1987, which is frightening to see how what this looked like and how late in it technically was. 7 girls must spend the night in an old house, which was once a brothel, as part of an initiation. So, yeah, this one just looked kind of eh.
Yeah, I wasn't too crazy about this trailer, even though it's 1987. I'm usually all over those.
Yeah,
this one just didn't really grab me. Unlike the next one, which really did. This one was very interesting. Another Cauldron Films release called Abracadabra. Now, this one's actually from 2018, but they did sort of like The Love Witch and made it look like it was from the 70s, which I love that.
Yeah, and I think this is on Shudder, isn't it? I believe.
If it is, I'm going to definitely go watch it because it looks super cool. In the tradition of giallos of the early 70s, a magician finds himself the target of a sadistic serial killer. And, of course, I love all things magic, so you combine magic and horror, and I'm all over it. This one is remastered with a trailer, a behind-the-scenes featurette, and then a CD disc with the soundtrack music by Luciano Onet and English and Italian audio tracks. This one looks really, really cool. I like it. I don't like when movies attempt to do a retro feel, but it's kind of just like they just slap a filter on it or something. This one actually looks like they went through the effort of actually making it look like it was in the 70s, which, like The Love Witch, too, is incredible in that way.
Yeah.
How they did the outfits and everything. But the interesting thing about The Love Witch is they didn't hide like certain anachronisms, so there's still modern things in it, but they don't try to like hide it. So it makes for this really unsettling weirdness where you're like, man, this film looks just like it was shot in the 70s. Even the acting and the editing and everything looks like it's from the 70s, but then you'll also kind of see like modern cars and stuff. It's very strange, but very interesting. I love that.
Yeah, this one actually was not. It wasn't on Shudder, or it's not on it now. I can't remember if it was or not. But either way, yeah, this is one I definitely want to see. Next one is from Unearthed Films, and it's called Torched from 2004. It says, Deanna, a young, pretty, and upwardly mobile nurse, is about to face the most difficult challenge of her life, deciding whether 5 men should live or die. In a moment which would change her life forever, Deanna is brutally raped, but the pain she suffered is nothing compared to that which her 5 suspects are about to endure. One by one, Deanna avenges her rape. Do the men deserve the punishment she inflicts upon them, or the death they will soon desire? Only Deanna will decide who will survive and who gets torched. Yeah. So this is obviously kind of one of those revenge flicks that are similar to, I Spit on Your Grave. The trailer just doesn't look great. I mean, it looks okay. It's very confusing. I don't.
Yeah, Olivia walked in on this trailer, and it was basically just a woman in the throes of passion, shall we say. So she was really wondering what I was watching. Yeah. But it's kind of a weird trailer. It doesn't really show much about the movie. So the next one up is from Magnolia Pictures, and it's called Alone from 2020, and you may recognize this one as one that we featured and did an interview on. Fantastic movie.
Oh, yeah. This is one of my favorites of the year by far.
By far.
Way up at the top of the list.
And one we probably would have missed because we saw this as part of the Fantasia Film Festival. And then when we got to talk to one of the lead actors and director, I mean, it was just a phenomenal film. And lead actress as well. Recently, widowed traveler is kidnapped by a cold-blooded killer only to escape into the wilderness where she is forced to battle against the elements as her pursuer closes in on her. And definitely one of the most chilling killers I've seen all year.
Yeah, Mark Menchaca was amazing.
Just fantastic. Yeah. So definitely check this one out. If you have not seen this yet, pick this disc up. You will not be disappointed. It's a great movie.
Yeah, that's definitely going in my monolith, I can tell you that. Next one is my pick of the week, so I'll skip. So it's the next one is from Warner Brothers, and it's The Wolf of Snow Hollow from 2020. It says, terror grips a small mountain town as bodies are discovered after each full moon. Losing sleep, raising a teenage daughter, and caring for his ailing father, Officer Marshall struggles to remind himself there's no such thing as werewolves. This one looks really cool, and it's got Robert Forster in it, which is always a good thing. And so... I love, also, Tim and I are big, we love those werewolf movies. This one kind of is like a modern, but kind of classic-y style of a werewolf movie.
It has like a Twin Peaks vibe to me, a little bit.
Yes,
Small town Twin Peaks vibe. And it's got, definitely you could tell it's got a sharp sense of humor. Like, there's some very comedic elements in the trailer.
Yeah. It's definitely one I want to see, for sure.
Yeah, I will tell you, out of all the trailers I watched this month, this one was the most that made the biggest impression on me. Like, I love the whole werewolf thing, but with a little bit of comedy twist to it. So I'm really looking forward to this one.
Maybe it's this year's The Dead Don't Die, instead of zombies, it'll be a werewolf.
Mm-hmm.
So this one it's got some special features on it too. It's got the story of the genre featurette, the impetus featurette, working with Jim Cummings featurette, and the design of the werewolf featurette. So I mean, it's not packed, but for a new movie, we've found a lot of times lately these type of movies that that are kind of coming out, and they may not be big titles and stuff. Really don't pack any special features on it. So it's nice you get some here.
Mm-hmm. Next up, another one I'm really looking forward to, based on the star power alone. This is from Cinedigm, and is The Call.
Yeah.
The Call from 2020. In the fall of 1987, a group of small-town friends must survive the night in the home of a sinister couple after a tragic accident brings them to the couple's door. And this stars Tobin Bell and Lynn Shay, so say no more.
Yes, that's you have us with that. That's it.
And the trailer looks cool, too. I mean, it's definitely not just the star power.
Right, but when you see their faces, you're just like, okay,
we're in good hands now.
Yeah, we're doing all right.
I'll tell you, Lynn Shay would be a dream guest for me.
Oh God, yeah, I gotta see if we got her on. She'd be so fun to talk to.
Yeah, she's incredible. I've heard her on other podcasts, and she's just a delight. Totally.
Yeah, well, we'll have to look into that, or if any of our listeners know Lynn Shay connections, let us know. So last one before we hit the pick of the weeks by Gravitas Ventures. It's Shortcut from 2020. It's a group of 5 classmates that's not worded right, really, right? A group of 5 classmates, should be R, but it says is trapped inside their school bus after a mysterious creature invade the road. What is with this? The way this is worded. This was horrible, IMDb. Time runs, and every passing minute decreases their survival chances against a constant threat of that unknown entity. I kind of got a Jeepers Creepers vibe a little bit.
This was the
second one.
Yeah, Jeepers Creepers 2 vibe for sure.
Yeah. But I mean, it looked okay. I'd give it a watch.
Yeah, I'd give it a chance.
And Gravitas Ventures usually has some good stuff, so.
Yeah. All right, so that brings us to our pick of the week. Brian and I differed again on this week. Like I said, Maniac from 1980 would definitely be that's the Blue Underground release, would definitely be a contender. But instead, I went with a movie that I just love a little bit more, and that is Arrow's release of Tremors 4K from 1990. Just as Val McKee and Earl Bassett decide to leave Perfection, Nevada, strange rumblings prevent their departure. With the help of a shapely seismology student, they discover their desolate town is infested with gigantic man-eating creatures that live below the ground. The race is on to overcome these slimy subterraneans and find a way to higher ground. And let me tell you, the Tremors series, I don't care how bad they are, I don't care which sequel they are, I will watch a Tremors movie. I love them. They're a guilty pleasure. And they just came out with that new one, the Shrieker Island, that I really want to see. So this one is a really packed disc. Actually, 2 discs. It's got a new 4K restoration from the original negative by Arrow Films, approved by director Ron Underwood and director of photography Alexander Grzinski. A 60-page perfect bound book featuring new writing by Kim Newman and Jonathan Melville and selected archive materials. A large fold-out double-sided poster featuring original and newly commissioned artwork by Matt Frank. A small fold-out double-sided poster featuring new graboid X-ray art by Matt Frank. 6 double-sided postcard-sized lobby card reproduction art cards, and limited edition packaging with reversible sleeve featuring original and newly commissioned artwork by Matt Frank. Disc 1 has the feature, the high-definition Blu-ray presentation, new audio commentary by director Ron Underwood and writers-producers Brent Maddock and S.S. Wilson, a new audio commentary by Jonathan Melville, author of Seeking Perfection, the unofficial guide to Tremors. I need to look that up. I bet that's a cool book. Making Perfection, a brand new documentary by Universal Pictures interviewing key cast and crew from the franchise, including Kevin Bacon, Michael Gross, Ariana Richards, Ron Underwood, Brent Maddock, and S.S. Wilson, among many others, and revisiting the original locations. That's incredible. This is all new stuff. The Truth About Tremors, a newly filmed interview with co-producer Nancy Roberts on the film's Rocky Road to the Screen. Bad Vibrations.
Rocky Road.
Bad Vibrations, a newly filmed interview with director of photography Alexander Grzinski. Aftershocks and Other Rumblings, newly filmed on-set stories from associate producer Ellen Collette. Digging in the Dirt, a new featurette interviewing the crews behind the film's extensive visual effects. Music for Graboids, a new featurette on the film's music with composers Ernest Troost and Robert Folk. Pardon My French, a newly assembled compilation of overdubs from the edited-for-television version. That should be entertaining.
Oh my God.
The Making of Tremors, an archive documentary from 1995 by Laurent Bouzreau, interviewing the filmmakers and special effects teams. Creature Featurette, an archived compilation of on-set camcorder footage showing the making of the Graboids. That's always cool. Electronic Press Kit Featurette, interviews with Kevin Bacon, Michael Gross, and Reba McEntire. Deleted scenes including the original opening scene, theatrical trailers, TV and radio spots for the original film, as well as trailers for the entire Tremors franchise. Comprehensive image galleries including rare behind-the-scenes stills, storyboards, and 2 different drafts of the screenplay. And on disc 2, which is a limited edition exclusive, you have extended hour-long interviews from Making Perfection with Ron Underwood, Brent Maddock, S.S. Wilson, Nancy Roberts, and creature designer Alec Gillis, outtakes with optional introduction and commentary by S.S. Wilson, and 3 early short films by the makers of Tremors remastered in high definition, including S.S. Wilson's stop-motion horror comedy classic Recorded Live from 1975. Just the extras alone on this disc just sound amazingly incredible. I'm definitely going to pick this one up for sure. I was trying to find what the retail price on this one is. It looks like this one, as you might expect, it's got a premium price because it is such a packed disc. It's going for $43 on Amazon right now, which is a little tough to swallow for a single disc. But man, it's 4K and it's got all those. But
if you'll get that bonus one, right? If you order early, right?
Right, you get that bonus disc. So that one's going on the old wish list as we speak.
Yeah, I might need to add that real quick. So the next one we have here is my pick of the week, and that is by Warner Archives, The Curse of Frankenstein. And Tim and I loved it. I was like, I'm actually surprised Tim didn't get this one to pick this one, but I know this was probably one of his ones he had in his thoughts. But so this one is Baron Victor Frankenstein, imprisoned for murder and trying to evade the guillotine, tells a priest how he and his mentor, Paul Krempe, had performed many scientific experiments, eventually leading to the resurrection of a dead body. The Baron's obsession and the monster's homicidal nature caused the deaths of several of those around him. Finally, the Baron is confronted by the enraged monster about to throw Victor's fiancée, Elizabeth, from the castle parapet. And, of course, you got classic Cushing in there, so you love that.
Yeah, this was a great one. I watched this one recently for the Hammer project, which the sadly abandoned Hammer
is this in my Hammer set? I can't remember.
It might be. I can't remember right off which set it was in or how I saw it. But
because I know you and I have that good Hammer set with like 8 of them in there. I don't. So anyway, this one's pretty packed. It's got 2 4K. It's got a 4K restoration from the Technicolor camera negatives and the 2-disc set featuring newly remastered 1.37:1 open matte version of the feature, and it's got a new feature commentary by screenwriter and film historian Steve Haberman, as he likes to do, and filmmaker, film historian Constant Nazer. And but remember though, when Nazer's like really relaxed tone and kind of, he was transplanted, of course, from Johnny Five from Short Circuit.
Yes.
But the thing is when he's teamed with Steve Haberman though, there's like this. He has like heightened senses, Steve Haberman does, and he counteracts the Constant Nazer. Constantine Nazer. I said Constant. It's a little Freudian slip there. Constantine Nazer. So he counteracts him. So it's a very interesting mix when those two get together. You got Nazer. Everything going like movie is great, but then you got Haberman kind of like chilling and calming it down.
Need more input.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4K negative. Okay. There's another one to look back on. A couple episodes back. Get that one. The Resurrection Man. This is the features also. It still says The Resurrection Man, Hammer Frankenstein, and the Rebirth of the Horror Film. Hideous Progeny. That's a good band name, too. The Curse of Frankenstein and the English Gothic Tradition. Torrents of Light. The Art of Jack Asher. Diabolus in Musica, James Bernard, and the Sound of Hammer Horror. That's probably a cool featurette.
Yeah.
Original theatrical trailer in HD and optional English SDH subtitles for the main feature.
Yeah, that's a good disc, and I don't know if it's on one of my existing one. I have to look that up. If it's that's still a good standalone disc to have those audio commentaries.
Oh yeah, all those great.
So let's recap the week of December 15th. That was a big week. We had Orgy of the Living Dead from 1973, American Rickshaw from 1989, The Dark and the Wicked from 2020, The Beach House from 2019, Maniac from 1980, Blue Underground, our unofficial third pick of the week, Blood Sisters from 1987, Abracadabra from 2018, Torched from 2004, Alone from 2020, highly recommended, The Wolf of Snow Hollow from 2020, The Call from 2020, and Shortcut from 2020. And then we had our official picks of the week. Mine was the fantastic, extremely packed Tremors 4K 2-disc set. And Brian's was the classic Curse of Frankenstein from 1957 Warner Archive release with some really great extras there. Which brings us to our final week. Final, you say? Isn't there a December 29th? Yes, but there are no disc releases that week. So December 22nd is the last time we get a couple of horror releases, and there's only 2 this week.
Yeah, that's not for horror Blu-rays. Is there that week? Yeah, doesn't exist.
Right.
Wait, you know why they gave you the buffer to watch things? That's what it is.
Yeah, so you got all of New Year's to catch up now. You don't have anything new. So that brings us to December 22nd. Our first release is Gravitas Ventures' Don't Look Back. Don't Look Back is a special phrase to me and Brian, because if you go to Holiday World and you ride the Headless Horseman Sleepy Hollow themed roller coaster, The Legend,
which is a Tim and I favorite,
a absolute favorite classic wooden roller coaster,
which hopefully we will get to next year.
Yeah, so as you go up the hill, this is true, guys. So the ride ops, they ring a bell, like, because the station is shaped like a schoolhouse. So they ring a bell, and then as you're pulling out of the station, the ride op, as you're going up the lift hill, is doing a clippity clop on the mic, and he'll go, "Don't look back." And
it's such a cool theme that Hollywood does for that.
It's just so cool. It's almost magical how
it is,
how just phenomenal that ride is. And you know, Hollywood Nights is the only time you get to ride these coasters in the dark, because the park usually closes early. So I literally cannot describe to you how intense these roller coasters are in the pitch dark going through the woods. Yeah. It is literally the most insane, intense thing I've ever done.
And I think what's so great about those coasters, I know we're kind of getting a little off topic here, but what's so great about those coasters there at Holiday World is that, as great as it was the first time you ride it, it doesn't ever lessen the multiple times you ride it. Like, I could ride Legend all day, all night long, and I'd be happy. But the only reason I don't is because I love the Voyage and I love the Raven and Thunderbird. I mean, they have 4. What they make up for in quality, what they lack in quantity of roller coasters. I mean, because you go to a big park, and you're up in there like 12 to 16 roller coasters, or Magic Mountain, and it's like 20, whatever, in Cedar Point. But every one is a winner.
World class.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, they're like the top. They're all like, I mean, they're all their wooden coasters are in my top 10 probably now, wooden coasters, and even Thunderbird is probably in my top steel. So you figure you put them together. I mean, they're all 4 right up there in my top 20. So
yeah. So sorry for that diversion, but Don't Look Back. It just, when I hear that phrase, I just it brings a smile to my face, because I think of the Legend at Holiday World. So the description on this one is: people who watch a man get fatally assaulted and don't help are targeted by someone or something out for revenge. And I really like this trailer, Brian. This one looked pretty cool, actually.
Yeah. I said it kind of had a little, and it was funny. It's from the makers of Final Destination, but I kind of got a Final Destination meets The Grudge kind of vibe going with this.
Yeah, definitely had that kind of feel to it. No special features, unfortunately, on this one.
Yeah. Special features is Tim and I watching it and telling you about it. Yeah. So our final pick of the week is, of course, since there's only 2, we, like Tim said, we had a really good shot at evening out in this one, and that is The Craft Legacy. Of course, a 2020, I guess, reboot, technically, right? I guess, or it says continuation, actually. So I guess I haven't seen it yet. I haven't got a chance to watch it yet. But it's a Blumhouse continuation of the cult hit The Craft. An eclectic foursome of aspiring teenage witches get more than they bargained for as they lean into their newfound powers. So I guess it's a sequel. So, so this is one I definitely want to watch. I'll probably just pick this disc up. So it's got a couple of featurettes on it: franchise legacy, powerful story, magical director, and 4 alternate scenes with introduction from the director.
Yeah, and this one is I've heard not so great reviews, but I don't know if it's because it's just Blumhouse in general will get you're going to get your share of not good reviews just because it's horror and because it's mainstream horror like Blumhouse. But I tend to, my personal experience from Blumhouse Pictures is that I tend to like them more than like the critic score.
Yeah.
Overall, so I tend to even like Fantasy Island got ravaged in the reviews, and I actually kind of enjoyed that one to an extent. So I always wait and see my own thoughts on the Blumhouse stuff because I tend to like them a little more than what the critic consensus would be. So I'm looking forward to this one, and I don't have I think a lot of these reviews could be because of people's nostalgia for The Craft. There's a lot of diehard fans of that movie. I'm not one of them.
Right.
Like, I enjoyed it. I saw it back in the day several times, but it's not a movie like I'm so nostalgic and in love with that a sequel is gonna like rob my childhood or anything. You know what I mean? I don't have that attachment to it, so I think I might like this one more.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think a lot of the negatives I see are like, oh, but the original this and that. So I think a lot of people, you're right. Like, you know, when you have a build up for that, for such a beloved movie, and then so many years later they come out, there's a lot of anticipation on it, and it's really hard to live up to it. And I think, so a lot of disappointment, but I heard in the disappointment there was references to the original in their critique of it. So when you hear that, you almost have to see. To me, I like the original. Haven't seen it in a long time, so I probably gonna have to watch that one again to make sure I'm ready for it. So to me, there's definitely not that nostalgia there for it. So I may be able to just enjoy both again. You know, so we'll see. I guess I'll give it I'm definitely gonna give it a watch. So we'll come back to that one later on, and we'll give our critique.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys, so just to recap, December 22nd was Don't Look Back from 2020 and The Craft Legacy from 2020. Brian and I both picked The Craft Legacy as our pick of the week. And that does it. December 29th, you get a little break from horror Blu-ray releases and get to enjoy whatever Santa put in your stocking or your Hanukkah gifts or whatever holiday you celebrate. So we will be back here next month with our January releases, a new year, hopefully a better year than 2020.
Yeah, please, God. I would say it almost has to, but I'm not going to say that anymore because we have no idea.
No. And by the way, Brian, we got a 2020 Christmas tree this year because it's fallen over twice now.
Oh, my God.
I'm serious. I'm dead serious. So it just never ends. It just never ends. All right, guys. So take care. I hope you enjoyed this little look at our Blu-ray releases for December, and look forward to our regular show episodes. We got some fantastic interviews coming up. We've got some great Christmas movies coming up, Christmas horror for you. So a packed December for you guys. Looking forward to it.
A December to remember in a year that nobody wants to remember.
Exactly. Take care, guys.
See ya.